Linda a class. Unfriendly colleagues at work. My name is Tom. I had been working full-time for 4 months. I was good at my job. Customers liked me. My boss trusted me. But one coworker did not. His name was Mike. Mike had worked at the store for 2 years. He didn't like that I was doing well. He often said rude things. "Why do you get the good shifts?" I replied, "I just work when the boss tells me." One day, I finished stocking the shelves early. Mike saw me resting for a minute. The next day, the boss looked angry. Joe asked, "Tom, why were you on your phone during work yesterday?" I said, "I was done with my task. I only sat for 1 minute." Joe said, "Mike said you were wasting time. Be careful." I felt upset. Why did Mike lie? I thought. I try so hard. That day, I worked quietly. I didn't talk to anyone. Luis noticed. Luis asked, "Tom, what happened?" I replied, "Mike said something that's not true. I think he wants me to get in trouble." Luis said, "Don't give up. Keep working hard. You're not alone." I nodded. I went home that night and looked in the mirror. I won't let one person stop me. I said to myself. Escalation of conflict. I worked harder after receiving the warning. I always arrived at the store early. I never took long breaks. But Mike kept causing trouble for me. He often forgot to tell me about items that needed to be stocked. He also moved things around randomly, making it hard for me to find them. Then he went to the boss and said, "Tom is always confused. Maybe he's not right for this job." Boss Joe started to have some doubts about me. Joe said, "Tom, you've been doing well. But recently, you've been making small mistakes." I felt so angry and helpless at that moment. I know I didn't do anything wrong. I thought to myself. But I didn't know how to prove I was right. One day, I saw Mike secretly changing labels on the storage boxes. I immediately asked him, "What are you doing?" Mike coldly answered, "Maybe you saw it wrong. Watch what you say." I was so angry my hands were shaking. I really wanted to shout at him. But then I remembered something my mom told me. Stay calm and use your head, not your anger. That night, I thought of a plan. I borrowed an old phone from Luis, hid it on a shelf, and turned on the camera. The next day, Mike was moving the boxes again. The boss later asked me, "Tom, why are the boxes misplaced again?" I took up the phone and said to the boss, "Please watch this video." Boss Joe watched the video and saw Mike moving the labels. Joe's face immediately turned red. And he shouted, "Mike! Come to my office, now!" I don't know what they talked about in the office. But from that day on, Mike never touched my things again. I learned an important lesson. Be smart to protect yourself. But always stay calm. Help more new immigrants avoid work traps. After things calmed down with Mike, I felt more confident. I knew my job was now stable. But there was still one thing that made me uneasy. I started noticing many new immigrants at the store, who were just like me when I first arrived, lost, scared, and lonely. One day, I saw a man named Carlos sitting near the door, looking very tired. I walked over and greeted him. "Carlos, are you okay? You look tired." Carlos replied, "I've been looking for a job. But it seems so hard. I don't know what to do." I sat next to him and started chatting. "I know how you feel. When I first came to America, I didn't have a job, money, or friends." Carlos asked me, "So how did you find a job?" I answered, "I worked here at this grocery store. And I learned a lot about how things work in America." Carlos asked again, "What should I do?" I thought for a moment and said, "Don't trust everyone. Some people might lie or take advantage of you." Carlos asked, "How can I tell?" I explained, "If someone offers you a high salary but asks you to do little work, it could be a scam. And before accepting any job, always understand the rules." Carlos nodded and said, "Thank you, Tom. I will remember that." A week later, Carlos found a part-time job at another store. He called to thank me. "Tom, I found a job. Thanks for your advice." I replied, "I'm happy for you, Carlos. But remember, stay alert and always check the details." Carlos said, "I will, Tom. Thanks again." I felt so proud, thinking to myself, helping others makes me stronger. The next day, I met a lady named Maria who was also looking for work. I sat down with her and started talking. "Maria, what kind of job are you looking for?" Maria replied, "I don't know. Everything seems so difficult." I comforted her. "Don't worry, we'll figure it out together." I continued helping more new immigrants. And I learned even more. I found that helping others made me feel better. I was no longer just struggling to survive. I was starting to grow. Vicious trap. I felt like I had finally gotten a good grip on life. I had my job, my apartment, and I was sending money back home to my family. But things at work were starting to get harder. There was a new assistant manager named Jenny. She seemed friendly at first. Jenny said, "Tom, you're doing great. Keep it up." But soon, things started to change. One afternoon, Jenny asked me to help her with a task. Jenny said, "Tom, I need you to clean the storage room. It's a big mess. Can you do that for me?" I didn't mind. I was happy to help and wanted to make a good impression. But when I went to the storage room, I saw something strange. There were boxes of expired products hidden in the back. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't sure if Jenny had placed them there, or if they were just forgotten. I started to clean up. But when Jenny came in, she acted like she didn't see the boxes. Jenny said, "Good job, Tom. But make sure you don't tell anyone about the mess in here. We don't want anyone to know." I felt uneasy. I didn't understand why Jenny didn't want people to know. But I didn't say anything. A few days later, I was called into the manager's office. Joe, the manager, looked upset. Joe said, "Tom, we need to talk. You know the storage room is a disaster, right?" I said, "Yes, but I cleaned it up. I thought everything was okay now." Joe said, "Then why did I find out you were hiding expired products in the back? That's serious, Tom." I was shocked. I said, "I didn't hide anything. There were just some old products. I was cleaning them up." "Joe, I don't believe you. Jenny told me you were hiding it on purpose. I can't trust someone who does that." My heart sank. Jenny had lied about me. I said, "Jenny said nothing about hiding products. I was just cleaning." Joe didn't listen. Joe said, "I'm sorry, Tom. I have to let you go. You're not a good fit here." I couldn't believe it. I had been set up. I left the office, my mind racing. I knew Jenny was behind it all. That night, I sat alone in my apartment, trying to figure out what to do. I thought about calling my family back home, but I didn't want to worry them. I thought, how could she do that to me? I've always worked hard. I've been honest. Then, I had an idea. I said, "I won't let this happen again. I'm going to expose her. Uncover the truth." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how Jenny lied and got me fired. I thought to myself, She used me. Now I have nothing. I can't just let this go. Then I remembered something. When I was cleaning the storage room, I had taken a photo. I quickly opened my phone and looked through my pictures. The photos show boxes of goods that have been expired for more than a year. I thought, this can prove I didn't bring those boxes in. Then I remembered something else. A coworker, Luis, had walked by the storage room that day. Maybe he saw something. So, I decided to call Luis. Hey Luis, I know it's late, but can I ask you something? Yeah, what's up? Luis said. Do you remember the day Jenny told me to clean the storage room? I asked. Luis said yeah, I walked by. Why? I continued to ask. Did you see what the room looked like before I touched anything? Yeah, it was already a mess. Looked like no one touched it for months. I felt a little hope. Said, would you be willing to tell the manager? I think Jenny blamed me for something I didn't do. Luis said. That's messed up. Yeah, I'll help. The next morning, I went back to the store with Luis and the photo. I asked to speak with the store manager, Joe. Joe looked surprised to see me. I said, Joe, I know I don't work here anymore, but I need to show you something. I showed Joe the photo. Then Luis spoke up. I saw the room that day. Tom didn't hide anything. The boxes were already there. Joe looked at both of us. Why would Jenny say otherwise? Maybe she was trying to protect herself. Maybe she didn't want people to know she had ignored the mess for months. Joe was quiet for a moment. Leave this with me. I'll talk to the district manager. I'll look into this. A week later, I got a phone call from Joe. Tom, I want to apologize. We found out Jenny has done this before to other workers. She's no longer with us. I said, really? Joe said, yes. And if you'd like your job back, we'd be happy to have you. I smiled. Thank you. I'll think about it. But maybe now I want something more. I had learned an important lesson, to stand up for myself. And to protect others from the same harm.